This is a precious family legacy handed down for posterity. It bears witness to a history of exquisite craftsmanship, which saw the creation of magnificent palaces and marvelous landscapes. Over the centuries, scholars have measured every brick and tile, seeking to unveil their secrets. These design drawings are the key to understanding them. Through the heat of the summer of 2019, staff of the Beijing Cultural Relics Institute work on excavation sites at Yuanmingyuan Park, where the old summer palace ruins lie.
现在我们站的这个区域呢，是当时这个陕卫城的南城墙。陕卫城啊，它是清朝的时候著名的一个佛城。
The imperial gardens have long been ruins. Only part of the foundations and the general layout are still recognizable. These royal gardens were first built 300 years ago and destroyed in 1860 in the Second Opium War. The site was plundered for decades, thereafter destroying all traces of the original appearance. To ensure the accuracy of their excavations and reduce the risk of further damage, the team need to use the original design drawings, called the Yangshi Lei Archives.
我们在发掘前呢，我们一般都要查阅相关的历史文献，尤其是对圆明园遗址来说，样式雷土葬是特别重要的。像这个陕卫城遗址呢，当时我们就在国家图书馆找到这个样式雷图，然后我们对照就是它现存的东西城墙的走势，另外呢，然后结合历史图葬，还有我们后期的那个考古勘探工作，然后基本上能够确定南城墙的它的走向。
For decades, people have tried to uncover the secrets beneath these ruins. The Yangshi Lei Archives are the records of the Lei family. Yangshi means architect or architecture, and Lei is the surname of the Lei architectural family. For 200 years during the Qing Dynasty, 8 successive generations of the Lei family served as the chief architects of Yangshi Fang, which was in charge of the Qing imperial architecture design. They were responsible for the design, construction, and renovation of many important projects, including the Forbidden City, the Old Summer Palace, and the New Summer Palace. It came to be said that the Yangshi Lei were responsible for half of China's ancient buildings. Over their time in office, succeeding members of the Lei family designed numerous celebrated architectural works, but the design drawings they left behind have proved more precious. As the 5th generation of his family, Lei Jingxiu started to assemble the vast number of design drawings made by his ancestors and arrange for their conversion. Fortunately for us, they survived the ensuing decades of turmoil. They afford a glimpse into traditional Chinese architecture and the craftsmanship and ingenuity of their era. According to statistics, there is a total of 20,000 existing Yangshi Lei archives, of which 15,000 are kept in the National Library of China.
This is 长江名胜图，是清通治6年绘制的。它主要是画了长江中下游两岸的各种地理要素，有南岳山，然后这个有武汉的黄鹤楼。
The Yu or map team at the National Library of China has a collection of around 100,000 ancient Chinese maps and design drawings. The Yu in Yu means chariot. In ancient times, the earth was sometimes seen as a chariot on which all life was carried. The Tu means picture or image. So Yu too was an image of the Earth, in other words, a map. In 2004, Bai Hongye graduated with a master's degree in geography and started to work in the map team at the National Library of China. Now, she is head of the department, responsible for the huge and priceless collection, including the 15,000 Yangshi Lei Archives.
这是我们国家图书馆今年出版的《国家图书馆藏样式类图档颐和园卷》。我们为了让这项世界遗产能为大众所用，我们就是首先07年到09年的3年把它全部进行了编目，然后从09年开始就陆续的和我们国家图书馆出版社合作，就是按专辑的形式进行出版。比如圆明园，它现在在进行考古挖掘，然后就需要用到我们的样式类图档。天津大学就用我们的样式类图档，它培养了很多硕士、博士生，然后对古建筑进行研究。
The survey and design drawings stacked in this small room make it even smaller. This is the Tianjin University School of Architecture.
你整过这个图？没有，颐和园还没动。动了。你之前知道吗？这个格对，不是它这个格子应该是可以取下来的。哦，封窗。对，就那个跟长春书一样。
He Beijie is in discussion with her research students.
目的还是为了标注这些尺寸，核对这个装修的尺寸。
The topic of discussion is this Yangshi Lei document on the desk.
实际上，现在整个建筑学的这个课程体系实际上是从西方过来的。我们是希望尝试说，我们的学生从1年级开始，他们就接触这些中国优秀的这些建筑作品，他们都是如何设计的，然后以这个为基础建构他们的知识体系、他们的审美。
A core member of the young research team on Yangshi Lei at Tianjin University, He Beijie, studied under the renowned scholar of ancient architecture, Wang Qiheng.
我后来是82年初到了天大。
Wang Qiheng is professor of architecture at Tianjin University. There, he lectures on and researches the history and theories of ancient Chinese architecture. He is also known as a pioneer of contemporary Yangshi Lei studies.
这个图什么年代？你一看这个就知道，定陵有了，慈禧慈安有了，还不叫陵，叫万年极地。然后这个地方有了双山峪，但是没有西双山峪，这个可以判断是光绪元年的图。国家图书馆的图，全世界的图，大部分都是状况，你必须掌握充足的史料、地名、年代，你能够判断。这个图对我而言，一看这个就可以判断，光绪元年。
From 1982 onwards, Wang Qiheng has led his research team to the National Library of China on numerous occasions. They have helped with the cataloging and research on nearly 11,000 Yangshi Lei documents, accounting for 70% of the Yangshi Lei archives held at the library.
围绕样式雷，我们天津大学继承传统，几千人次的老师、学生爬峰上梁，就继承90年前引导学生的目标，把它变成人类的共享的资源，是变成可读的资源，更多人关注，找到中国古代建筑的大智慧。
样式雷图档它告诉我们，中国古代建筑是有设计的。在建筑组群这个方面来讲，可以看出中国古人在处理建筑和环境的关系的时候是极富巧思的。这个是我们现在的建筑学教育里头其实是比较弱的一个环节，就是我们需要把建筑和环境很好的融为一体。
Yangshi Lei archives contain the wisdom of the master craftsmen of ancient China. Generations of students at the Tianjin University School of Architecture have used them to explore the secrets hidden among their columns and crossbeams.
喂，好，与图组。我是。报咱们馆里批了吗？那攒多少呢？有清单吗？ 对你发给我吧，然后我们得先去看。
Bai Hongyue receives a call from the National Library's exhibition department and starts to make the preparations for a new exhibition.
我们接到任务，说是管理的展览部和园林博物馆合办的一个展览，就是样式雷的专题展。它用到我们的原件32幅，然后我们就一件一件的给它找。
对，23501010。
210哈。
对。
是1，是0，
就是这个。
2350010。
对对对，这个。
有些就是破损的比较严重的，不适合展览的，我们就建议他就，要么就换，就是不展了。然后我们要不就是，如果他非得要这件东西呢，我们只能让我们修复临时帮修一下。这个是我们要拿去展览，就清点的时候才发现，就破的比较厉害，所以就是很临时，然后就需要对，啊，那个破的你看比较严重，就断了，然后这里都缺了，反正它需要平一些，你就怎么能让它显得平一些？
The exhibition is scheduled to begin in 2 weeks. The restorer who has taken on this urgent task is Guo Zhixin. Though she looks very young, she has been in the restoration team at the National Library of China for nearly 10 years.
这是颐和园的那个昙花阁，来的时候是折叠状态的，折的次数多的地方就发生断裂，所以修复之前要把它展开、展平，要把这些裂口给它连接起来，这些线条细小的线条要对起来。
An ordinary-looking desk is the arena in which the restorer must grapple with their tasks. But the design drawing in question is much larger and more complicated than the relatively straightforward page repairs to an old book. To meet the challenge, Guo Zhixin plans to use the library's secret weapon. It is the one and only special device available to the restoration team.
我们一般修复文献呢，为了不遮挡文献正面的信息，是在文献的背面进行修复。然后这张图展平的过程当中，它有错位的部分，利用这个修复台能把这个图投射到电视上，便于我进行拼对。
As this particular drawing shows, most of the damage to the ancient documents occurs where the paper has been folded numerous times over centuries. After selecting the correct complement paper of the same color and texture as the original, the restorer cuts it into strips of appropriate lengths and widths with a 1 centimeter overlap. These are pasted onto the back of the drawing to connect the damaged segments and consolidate the folds. This may seem simple, but actually requires enormous patience from the restorer, because any slight movement may affect the drawing as a whole. The parts that have been repaired may cause marginal misalignments in other sections, and therefore require continual resetting, like a moving jigsaw puzzle, until the whole is reset with a perfect alignment of all the lines on the original. Since the National Library of China launched its restoration project for the Yangshi Lei Archives in 2008, nearly 10,000 documents have been reborn. The efforts of the restorers have enabled more people to learn about this revered family of architects and establish a new field of Yangshi Lei studies. In research on the Qing Dynasty history, the history of ancient Chinese architecture, and the protection of architectural cultural relics, the Yangshi Lei Archives have proved invaluable. As a member of the faculty at Tianjin University, Zheng Fengwu has been dedicated to research on the Yuan Mingyuan documents in the Yangshi Lei Archives for the past few years.
当时最初接触的时候，给我的任务就是你能把图档里面反映的历史格局的变迁能够梳理出来就可以。然后我就去做圆明园调查，才知道圆明园的规模比我自己认知的要庞大的多。另外一个，其实最大的难点是已经基本上没有地上实物。这样的话，其实按照王老师原来的工作逻辑的话，是文献、图档和实物三者彼此互证，这是一个非常严谨的一个我们说像考据一样的一个工作方法。但现在我却缺了一个非常重要的环节，就是没有实证。那么换句话说，我只能依靠于文献和图来彼此互证。
Zheng Fengwu has looked through thousands of Yangshi Lei items on the old summer palace. This has helped him construct a virtual version of the royal gardens as viewed by the craftsmen of the time.
这个是完整的，这个可能看起来可能要清楚一点，就是转的会慢一点。这个其实是乾隆时期在长春园里面兴建的一个湖中间的一个小岛，那么圆形的城台上面建了一个十字的方亭，也可以是楼阁。那么这个建筑群的话，其实是乾隆皇帝在当时非常喜欢的一种图式，就是曼陀罗图式。
Zheng Fengwu and his students have reconstructed the missing buildings on computer using the Yangshi Lei Archives.
所以这个工作其实就印证了我们研究样式类图档的一个终极目标。对于圆明园来说，样式类图档的最核心价值就是让我们在没有地上实物的情况下，可以透过这些图档去了解背后的一些形象。
Although the Lei family declined along with the fall of the Qing Dynasty, the design drawings they left behind offer a perspective for people today to get a glimpse of what makes the ancient Chinese architecture so special. To share this precious heritage with the world, the research team at Tianjin University have assembled their work in an exhibition for tour around the world. Together with the National Library of China, they succeeded in having the Yangshi Lei Archives selected as part of UNESCO's Memory of the World program. While doing their research, Tianjin University School of Architecture had their undergraduates do surveying and drawing practice on ancient architecture every year. Then, by combining their work with the Yangshi Lei Archives, they can come to envision ancient buildings in both past and present forms. At Beijing's Beihai Park, Zheng Fengwu is leading his students in their annual course on the surveying and drawing of ancient architecture.
所以我们这次想借这个测绘的机会，把一些数据信息，包括它现状的情况，做一个详细的一个勘察。另外，核心的一个问题还是要就是破解在外面我们看到的屋顶出现了局部塌陷这个问题，原因是什么？如果这个问题能够得到一个合理的解释的话，那么为后续的保护也好、修缮也好，就能提供一些非常有力的支撑。所以这也是我们现在测绘里面一个非常重要的一个工作吧。
The process requires a lot of dull and repetitive work, which is a real challenge for the students.
天大测绘里面一个宗旨就是希望借助本科生用他的认真和仔细来发现这些建筑里面的差异。学生在现场调查的时候，他可能没有什么知识的储备，但是他通过调查和文献结合的这种工作方法，他能够很快地产出一个结果，而且有一些新的发现。这个是我们觉得就是测绘工作里面最大的一个收获。
Generations of students from Tianjin University have traveled around China collecting data and making drawings of many ancient structures. Together with the Yangshi Lei family 200 years ago, they have presented and enriched the discourse on ancient Chinese architecture. By hanging it on the wall, the restorer is further flattening the newly restored Yangshi Lei drawing. The severely damaged drawing has taken on a new lease of life. It will soon be on display to the visitors at the Museum of Chinese Gardens and Landscape Architecture.
我们带了3、4件藏品，准备去园林博物馆布展。这几年只要讲到园林，基本上不管是做展览、做书，还是做什么文创，都会来查阅样水的这种档案资料。
The National Library of China has strict security provisions for those items on temporary loan. Bai Hongyu and her colleagues escort the Yangshi Lei Archives to the museum and help its staff finalize the exhibition arrangements.
平常我们的样水图是有专藏库，就是在我们的善本收藏库里边，库房对于温湿度的要求，行业安全的要求，这个是有严格规定的。然后呢，我们的这个原件相当于文物原件出来了，那它出来了，它到哪儿就是善本库房，那规定就必须符合我们文物保存条件，湿度是50%左右最好，然后温度是19到20度。把这个弄了就拿走了。
你们往左来一点，是吗？
你们再看一下高度，高度你们定2码。
差不多，可以，行。
Over 2 days, the staff members from the library and the museum arranged the 30+ items. With this completed, the drawings will be open to the public at the Museum of Chinese Gardens and Landscape Architecture. The visitors will be able to appreciate close up these precious cultural relics.
我们这个展览实际上是用大众的视角来解读一个专业问题，所以我们的目的非常明确，就是要让来这儿看的每一个老百姓都能看得懂。所以我们就是把展览做得非常的科普，对观众也是一种很直接的接受知识的一种方式。
Beijing has been a buzzing city for 600 years. Historical stories of these exquisite buildings may not be known to the residents. Still, the shape of every tile and the radiant of every cornice can lead us to the treasures that the craftsmen of the past have left to posterity. The 8 generations of the Yangshi Lei family drew their blueprints representing a pinnacle in ancient Chinese architecture. This is where history is written in the landscape, as the ancestors pass on their culture in wood, stone, and clay.